try that. Let's try that. So we're back, guys. Had to update the frames, latency, the video bit rate. So let's see how that works. Okay, good. Sorry, Gumball. I will avenge you. So we're back to normal. We're gonna have to lower the bit rate on this. We'll do a close combat. We'll go for the close combat here. Surprised it survived it. And then we'll go for the quick attack. Ah. We'll switch out for a sec and go for Arde. I'm thinking they might try high jump kick me. Luckily I resist it. This will give me time to heal up. Fumble at least. So we'll do a psychic. Get for running a male Lophany. That's what you get for running traps. Arte punishes with this with the psychic. Those Steelix. Umble should be able to take it out. We'll go for the bulldoze. Ooh. It might actually be a bulky sweeper, so we'll go for this strategy. I already know it's gonna have the guaranteed it's gonna have the rock move, so we'll do a prediction. Sorry, Azure, you had to. Just sorry, Lucario, you had to be the sacrifice. So what we'll do is switch into Pipette. I should double resist it, and we'll go for the Hydro Pump. I should be fine against the Drift Blimp because I know it has Aftermath. So we'll do Ice Beam. Might have the Unburden ability if I remember correctly, so you might go for the Hex. Oh, minimum. Oh, that strategy. The super stally strategy. Nope. Having none of that. Having none of that shit. Okay, now that we know he's running 8, switch into Star Raptor, get the Intimidate off. We'll get that Intimidate off. I think he might be faster. So let's see. Ooh, running Thunder Punch. Good move. Let's see if Gumball can Can I tank it? Yep, I can tank it. And then we go for the speed drop. And then we bulldoze it for the game. Get out of here, bitch. Bruh, you look like you just... that face is kind of weird. Too many innuendos you can pull up. So let's heal up. Okay, Lucian is gonna be an interest. I think it's, yeah, Lucian. So the only mon I have that can handle it is Gumball because he has the dark type move. Ah, it's a damn Mr. Mime. Okay, we're gonna switch out. Okay, he's got the reflect. Okay, this is gonna be annoying as... We'll do flash cannon. Seriously, is he gonna... Okay, you know what? Two can play this setup. Calm mind strats for the win. Okay, we'll heal up. Seriously, gotta do the setup strategy. No, nothing's gonna handle +6. Nothing on this guy's team's gonna handle +6. Sorry, because we're doing a special. Let's heal up. Are you kidding me? It's a physic. Oh wait, no, the car is easy. Thank you. So what we'll do is this. I have an idea. Let Bird up, take care of this. Take that crunch to the face. Take it. Take it. Okay, we got rid of Lucian. So before we do that, let's heal up the team. Because I heard Cynthia is hella annoying. I heard she's hella annoying. She's about to take my soul. So we'll lead with Alakazam. We go. We go. We go against the waifu in Pokemon. Everybody's favorite waifu. The damn Spirit Tomb. We'll go for the Dazzling Gleam. Ooh, shit. She hits hard. Let's go for the stab. Let's go for the stab, Dazzling Gleam. I did not get Moonblast yet. Okay, that Roserade's gonna be a problem. Ouch. I went for the Brave Bird because I had to. Gashadon that's annoying. And it's got leftovers if I remember correctly. Okay, we're picking apart her team one by one. If I remember correctly, her Lucario is... I hope she doesn't send in the Garchomp. Oh shit. It's a specially defensive one. I thought it was the physically defensive one. Okay, we got the Bulldoze. Glad I kept that. Okay, this is good. This is the slow part of the match. I can actually heal up. I can actually heal up. Oh, thank God. I can heal up a bit before she takes my soul. Because that Garchomp steals souls. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care if it's Flame Orb, I can stall it out. I need to heal up my team, that's why. I need to heal up for this strategy to work. Sorry, Pep, you're taking a lot. You're the tank for the team right now. Okay, healed up. And we'll give it a grass knot. We'll go for the grass knot again. Let's go for the grass knot. She really loves to stall. And she's just healing. Nope. You ain't mirror coding me. Damn, that recovery strat is annoying. Okay, didn't. Oh, thank God. Got rid of that bastard. Holy crap, that took so long. We'll go for bird up first. And it has sword stance. Okay, let's time this right. If I remember let's see if she can survive. Poison jab. Survive. Nope. At least I chipped away. Please live. Yeah! Okay, we might have to do... We might have to do some big brain plays. Do we have revive? Yep. We're gonna have to do some big brain plays. Sorry, Pipette. Yes! Burn up! Burn up! Burn up! Yes! That strat worked. Yes! Burn up! Burn up! Burn up! Intimidate strategies for the win. Holy crap. Intimidate strategies for the win. Holy shit. Yes. Yes. Good job, you guys. I hope to heal at the same time. Yes. We cleared it. We cleared it. And we were under leveled still. Yeah, I spent 45 hours on this game. Fuck with me. Finally, we're done with that nonsense. So let's see how the Pokedex looks. So we got 6 more mons to go. So which mons do we need? I think we still need Wormadam. We need one Pokemon 114. I forget which one is that. The 3 Pixies at plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Five, yeah. We need the... We pretty much have everything else. So if I remember correctly, it's the Battle Tower. Let's heal up. And then... we're in the post-game. So... what I'll probably do up to this point is film some Wi-Fi battles in the future, and also the legendary hunts. So before we do any of that shit, let's head over. Celestic Town. Get the free Palkia. The Palkia data, that is. Wrong house. We will go see for Palkia. Okay, we got Palkia. So now that we have Palkia, we got 5 more to go. So hopefully we will be able to complete the Pokedex, unlock Ramanis Park, and then do some more interesting stuff. So let's get on to the next segment, shall we? Okay. So what we're gonna be doing is a few things, actually. So kind of reflecting back on 2021. We're gonna do a quick reflection on that, a little retrospective of how the year has gone for me. So let's Do a quick window capture. Let me just. Let's talk a bit about my year, my 2021 retrospective on YouTube. So a lot has happened this past this year so far. This past year, or rather this year. I never thought I would be doing a lot more remote fight thanks to the pandemic. It really kind of, I think the recent tournaments. I think when did I start doing a lot of remote videos? I think it was right around October or January. Let me take a look. Yep, just wanted to make sure. Yeah, it was right around January. Wow. Seriously, like wow, it's been such a long time since I did all that stuff, and honestly reflecting back on it, there were some ups and downs. I didn't get to do a lot of discussion videos. I've been doing a lot more match videos, which was really fun. I think the reason why I haven't done a lot of discussion videos partially because of the fact that I was so busy with life that I didn't get a chance to think about like what I wanted to talk about and really sit down and script. So I kind of had to table that. And honestly, I want to do that, more discussion based videos, like where I just sit down and talk about my thoughts about the game or topics related to the game, generic topics, and really just kind of sit down. And even if it's just me reflecting or just rambling about the topic, it just so I can have my thoughts out and share it out. That's what I was thinking about, and even some where I'll take the time to actually script out an argument and kind of just discuss what's my thoughts and my viewpoints on it. Um, One thing I am gonna try to do, hopefully, when we get back to more normal stuff, is actually do more in person matches. But lately, the only reason why I've been doing remote fights is because of the fact that we're still dealing with the pandemic. We're still dealing with a lot of crazy stuff. So it really did hit us hard at my local. So we haven't gone back into in person. But overall, I gotta say this year has been very interesting. I managed to expand more into English. And overall, I'm very grateful to have this platform and to be able to have you guys enjoy some of the content that I produce. But yeah, if you guys haven't yet subscribed, please do so. I encourage it because all I'm always looking for feedback, and if you guys really like my content, please just check it out. And I've been posting like very crazily back to back. So if you haven't gotten a chance to look at the recent videos, so go please check them out. they're actually really engaging or really interesting. I am also planning in the future, so this is going to be where I talk about some goals. My goal is to take this channel a little bit further, so I'm on top of trying to do at least 2 to 3 streams a week. I also want to kind of expand, not into other games, but mainly into card games and maybe do some Pokemon stuff here and there because I also did Pokemon in the past on this channel. Kind of bring it back. Um, I kind of want to do more stuff related to gaming. So this is not just going to be Weiss, but just a gaming channel. I may even do discussion topics that are outside of Weiss. Um, this is just all kind of been what I've been thinking about for the past few weeks, provided that I can balance this and my work schedule. So hopefully I can commit myself to at least doing 2 streams a week. And then if I can maintain that, I'll add a third one. So what I'm thinking about doing is probably Friday, like Wednesday and Friday, or Friday, Saturday, streaming. So I can kind of keep consistent with that. Also, you're still gonna be seeing some video, at least 2 videos a week from me on top of the streaming. So I'm gonna be trying to load up that content. But overall, this year has been a very, very productive year for me. As for what to expect, in terms of Weiss, I'm planning on doing some product opening. Um, I think, yeah, I think that's it for the kind of reflection on the new year, on this year. I am looking forward to growing this channel. I hope to reach, I'd say 800, like 750 by February, hopefully, if I can continue cranking out the videos. Um, oh yeah, and if you guys haven't watched the previous deck profile, the previous video I uploaded yesterday, which was my deck profile on Sword Art Online Alicization Pants Choice. Check it out. It's right there. Um, I am also going to be trying to do some more collab videos. I'm planning on collaborating with Jack from 3-6 Castle again. I'm thinking about collaborating with Lunchbox, and I'm looking forward to working with Chairman again, so we can do more than just a match video, but maybe a discussion video related to Weiss. Because I am looking forward to that. I may do, what are some stuff that I'm thinking right now on, I think that's it for the, yeah, the plans so far. So like if I had to boil it down to like a small list, would be streaming. We're gonna be doing discussion videos, and we're still gonna try keep up with the match videos and the deck profiles. Hopefully, as we get into more in person, I'll do that as well. Hopefully, and yeah, hope you guys are having a new year wherever you are. Happy New Year if it's already January over on your guys' area of the world, and I wish you guys the best year. So let's let's do a couple things that I wanted to react to, but let me turn this off for a sec. Um so let me get that set up. We're gonna be reacting to a few videos today, so let me pull it up. So we're gonna be looking at it's a pseudo reaction slash my critique on Carmen from Pittsburgh White Shorts, who's also part of Team Burn One. So we're gonna be looking at various deck lists by the crew. And I'll give you guys my thoughts about it. So this stream should be quite an interesting one, if I do say so myself. Very few that I react to other people's decks, but let's take a look. Let me just put this on and adjust it. Okay.
Hey, what's up, guys? Pittsburgh Weiss Schwartz back with this time a multi-deck tech, bringing you the best decks that we've found so far with Ruby.
First of all, maybe this is just a nitpicky part. Not a dig to them because I think it's just an audio disconnectivity. But let's take a look again. Nice graphics though.
Joined today by Brian and Carmen.
Hello, hello.
Say hello, guys.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah. So I think like pretty much we each brewed up a different deck here. This is kind of just stuff we've been trying out. I think it's pretty much what a lot of people were expecting, like right out of the gate. At least the decks me and Brian have. Carmen's is a little bit spicier, actually, for once. But it's been performing really well for him, so we'll save the best for last there. But unless you guys have anything else to say, I'm good to jump right into it with Brian's choice standby deck here, which is actually what I was first testing.
Okay, before I kind of talk about the I just want to first preface, just in case they watch this, that whatever comments that I have is in good nature. If I come off kind of what is that word? If people think I'm coming off kind of dickish, I'm just being funny. I'm just poking fun. And really I actually do respect a lot of their opinions. In fact, a lot of my videos, a lot of my decks, I usually use their videos as kind of like a shell before while I'm building the deck to test it out, and then I modify around their shell. So I do give credit to them. So I just wanted to preface that before if I decide to poke fun of it or if I make comments, because I don't want to come off as, what's that word? A dick. I don't want to I don't want them thinking that I'm just poking their list apart, because there honestly we all have different deck styles, different build styles, different approaches. So this is something that I've always kind of appreciate about Weiss. There's different flavors, different schools of thought, and looking my first impression on of this list is it's actually pretty interesting. I was considering the Jean one step, but my issue with it was the fact that it relied on so many pieces to happen. Like a lot of things had to go right for that list to do well. And for me, just like the Ruby one too, the Ruby one step, they both rely on reverses, which is kind of the issue with most climax combos. But looking at how the meta is, where it's less of the bounce combos where they when your opponent fronts it bounces. I forget. But yeah, less Oboro focus and more on board presence. So I can see where they're going already just from looking at it. So I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna turn off my just listen in and see what their reasoning is. But I kind of like this list. The openers, I would probably say on my first impression is cut the clean cuts and add mill runners because from my personal experience, this deck does lack a lot of deck speed. So you need some kind of milling, like constant, consistent milling to help you. And they do have the spammable brainstorm and the Nora brainstorm. But I feel like the Trodeck mill runner is something that I think should not be overlooked. But that's just my opinion on it.
Testing out as well.
Mhm.
Your build looks really similar to what I was testing, Ryan.
Yeah, yeah. So this list that I put together here, this was my first impression on the set. This is the only thing I've built so far in Ruby, mostly due to the fact that I didn't have trial decks until recently. So this is made entirely out of booster cards. It is a three-color deck, splashing blue because the Blake early play healer is the only early play healer in the set, or one of the only good ones. Correct me if I'm
I
wrong.
think it's the only one.
Yeah,
It's either the Blake healer or the Nora.
Yeah, the Nora's like
yeah,
a
Nora
Shirogane. Yeah.
the big Nora, yeah.
The only other one's the Oz pin, but that has like a
then
weird clock
the
condition.
weird neg soul that doesn't heal though. Draw two, ditch
Mm-hmm.
one. Then we're in yellow for the Jean combo off choice, and aside from that, the deck is primarily red. At level 0, we play 4 Yang Clean Cuts, mostly as our yellow splash, but also because it on play allows you to most of the time pump 2k power to a lane. This is relevant because our level 1 combo does give a character on reverse search and will be used multiple times over the course of the game.
Yeah, okay. So just pausing here. So now that I understand that he only recently got the Troudek a playset of the Traudex, it kind of makes sense why he's playing or clean cut. Honestly, for me, it's a two or three of now. Like my position on clean cuts has evolved over time because of the fact that it's a better going second card. I also like the fact that he splashed in the Neon Cat, which shows that he's kind of future proofing for Mushoku, since being able to bottom deck that Rudy runner is going to be very good, and it's also good against Kaguya because if they go first and open the K only, you punish the K with just ease, and then just go into pushing for damage, which is actually really nice.
Since it can also activate from the back row. We are running 4 of the Pira level 0 Rize because it's necessary for the Ruby combo. The Ruby level 3 combo requires that 2 copies of this be in memory in order for it to go off. This card is on reverse, look at top 3, take a character. If you take a character, ditch a card. And also on reverse, if you have 3 or less, if you have less than 3 memory, you can send this to your memory. And Ruby requires 2 of them to be there. The level 1 Pira bomb right below it fulfills the same condition. It is on play. If you have 2 or more other remnant trait characters, you can draw ditch. It's a level 1 bomb, which is relevant against standby. It can let you bomb out enemy standby targets, but is also relevant in tandem with the Jean combo that I mentioned a second ago. The Jean combo, when you play the choice, you give a character on reverse search, which can also activate from the back row no matter where Jean is on the stage. So your level 1 bomb can also facilitate that reverse condition if you can't crest a lane for some reason, if they have a massive level 1 character. Continuing on level 0, we run 3 Nora Brainstorms, pretty typical brainstorm count. It's just Betty Brainstorm, it gives 500 power when another one of your characters reverses a lane. Sometimes that's relevant on your attacks. You can kill one of your opponent's characters, give the extra 500 power somewhere to secure your lane. This deck sits pretty small on the swing back though, so that 500 power usually isn't relevant in protecting your characters there. We have 2 copies of the Neon Cat. I think Carmen is going to talk a lot more about that card.
Oh yeah, I will.
But it is a on play. If your opponent has 1 or fewer characters in their front row, you can choose a level 0 character in their front row, or
Oh,
is
it's
it a cost
better.
0?
It's cost 0.
It's cost 0 character in their
Yeah.
front row and send it
Dunk
to the
it.
bottom of their deck. And it's also a coin flip.
So before I go any further, overall, um I'm I'm kind of aware of Carmen's take on the Neon Cat, and I'm gonna address it later, like what my thought on his take on it. But my view on the Neon Cat in when deck building is I feel like Brian actually has the correct number because this is a going second card, not a going first. Even though it's a coin flip, in order to best really take advantage of this card as what it's intended to be, which is a punishing card at the early game, a punishing on people just playing one and swinging, is to play it only as a 2 of. At max, I feel, and this is my personal opinion, 3. 3 is like the max. 4 is a bit overkill in my opinion because of the fact that there are so many better openers, and if your logic is that if you're gonna face the mirror match, why not have it at 4? It's kind of silly, and I think most players and I can safely and charitably assume Carmen doesn't think like that. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt before I hear his take on that. And honestly, I think Brian has the right ratio. It's around 2 to 3. This is why I'm kind of curious about his take. Like me, I've been testing it back and forth. For me, it's like a 1 or 2 of. Like I'm kind of curious about that, and I'm also curious about the Pira, since you're only able to shove a maximum of 3 into memory while he's playing 4. I feel like you could have flexed that slot in adding other pieces, maybe the third Neon Cat, or if he were to cut down the clean cuts to 2, he could play mill runners. So the list is overall like still very interesting, and so let's continue. Let me stop right here and let Brian continue.
Start of your draw step, reveal top card of your deck. If it's level 1 or higher, it comes back to your hand to do it again. So pretty strong, especially going second. Lets you get rid of whatever your opponent plays at level 0, runner, Rize, what have you, while also being a plussing 0 itself and potentially popping back to your hand. 2 copies of the Ironwood. He is our primary filter tool in this deck, and also most of our blue splash for getting the Blake early play online. He is on play, reveal top. If it's a remnant character, add it to your hand, ditch. Right? No, that's not how that works. He is on play, ditch a remnant character, draw a card, and also ditch a card, reveal top card of your deck. Look at that card's level and salvage a character of that level or lower. So he is double ditch out, lets you get rid of things that you don't want early, and
Ironically, I think this is a better Arisu too, the James Ironwood, and from my testing with it I feel like it's a 3 or 4 of. I can understand 2 because the set has a lot of utility, and it's kind of hard to balance that since you also want to be able to have room for tech options. So I do see where he's coming from. So overall, I do like Brian's list. I'm gonna listen in a little bit more before I move on to the next list because I'm gonna skip ahead because this video is like an hour and a half long. Oh, my mouse died. All. Dang it. I'll just play it right here.
Draw into things that do. Running 2 copies of the Ruby Climax swap. 2 mostly for consistency's sake and for the fact that since the Jean combo can sit in the back row and give its on-reverse search to anything, we'll be swapping into the choice a lot and utilizing that to keep our hand full throughout the game. 1 copy of the Zwei adds a little bit of extra deck speed to the deck on play. Mill 2 if you hit a climax, search for a character and discard a card, and it's also a drop salvage, so it gives you access to both zones and lets you potentially find whatever you're looking for at any given point in the game. The last level 0 I'm running is the Blake Spammable Brainstorm. This card is super, super important in this deck because Ruby, or this deck in particular in Ruby, does not have a lot of deck speed. The Spammable lets you both fix your hand to get whatever.
And let me kind of piggyback off of Brian. I do like the spammable brainstormer after testing it. Ruby, I do have one because I do feel like I do agree with Brian, you do need some deck speed with this deck, and overall it's kind of a necessary evil. So yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead to Andy's list so I can kind of get my thoughts on. Sorry, Brian, if I had to cut you off for that. So let's look at Andy's one.
A lot of same faces in this deck as the choice standby. We're also running the Ruby at the top end here. So we got 4 copies of the Pyrrha. I gushed a lot about that card during the set review too. I just really love that Pyrrha card in general. Just being able to go to memory for freeze. Really, really great. And I like the Rize effect.
Okay, this is my first impression of the list. I feel like now I can see why Brian and Andy play this Rize at 4. They're concerned a lot about the deck speed, and I do see why they play 4, even though you only at max you're shoving 3 in memory. But I do kind of that's where I do kind of disagree with them. It's the ratio of that Pyrrha, because I feel like the you can make up for that lack of deck speed that the fourth one has by just adding the fourth trial deck brainstormer. And you have a lot of mill in this list. This list does have a decent number. And what's kind of a red flag for me, and this is just from my play style if I were to play this list, is I feel like he's gonna struggle with hand size if the if the deck he's going against wins the board game. So he's either gonna have to pay 3 stock a lot of times, or just hope that his opponent doesn't have the resources to crack the board. And in most cases, in most standby decks, it's okay to make that not assumption, but to take that risk. My only like pseudo red flag, it's more of like a yellowish flag, is the Pyrrha at 4. I feel like the Pyrrha at 4 is a bit not is a unnecessary. Like I've tested it with my friends, and I know he likes it. Andy just said it. He was gushing over it, so it's like understandable. Like, in fact, once again, I want to stress that when my comments are purely from my perspective. I'm not in any way dissing them. I actually like their videos. Again, probably Brian and Andy is probably one of the few that I have actually what is it? What's that word? Trying to fish it. Wait. I agree majority of the time when I watched it PGH's multi deck techs, their takes on the decks are usually the ones that I've actually kind of enjoyed because it's a unique perspective that I appreciate, and they remind me a lot of my teammates because they have that kind of diverse perspective, and it allows me to kind of that's where I usually tend to tech out my lists based on those kind of ideas and perspectives. So, want to be clear again, my comments on or any kind of reactions is just purely from my like a constructive in my perspective, and that's why if I do, and I'm warning, just a warner spoiler, if I not spoiler warning, if I do make fun, it's usually because it's out of fun. I'm not doing it to be a dick. But so far, I have no problems with this list. I actually find it very interesting to take that he's going about both Andy and Brian. So let me continue. Give Andy some time to speak, some charitability.
So I'd probably be running the card anyway, but it's definitely feels very very good because Ruby is a little hard up for deck speed if you're not running the trial deck combo. Um, 3 copies of the Ruby Rose Runner from the trial deck. Mills 2 cards on play to get extra power, and it's just a mill runner. I have it in here because it's extra mill power for standby, just to help me get targets in the graveyard early so I can hit my standbys. 2 copies of the Yang Clean Cut. Seeing a clean cut at 2 might be a little bit puzzling at first, but I'm running it more so. It's kind of like a hybrid option for me.
I actually don't think it's weird, Andy. I actually kind of agree with you. And the one that kind of actually um changed my opinion on clean cuts, the number that is, how many you should run in a deck, is actually what's his name? He's from Strictly Broken. Not Connor, not Yue. Trying to remember his name. Uh, Trying to remember his name. Holy crap! It probably will. Well, if somebody remembers, he played ReZero for Worlds one year. I'm trying to remember his name. Holy crap! I feel bad. I'm sorry if you're watching this. It escapes my memory. I'm really bad with names. So that person, yeah, he ran. I think in his list 2, in his ReZero list 2 clean cuts, and after looking at his list and actually trying it out myself, I see where he was coming from. And I feel like that's why my opinion on cuts have changed. Like the only 2 sets now that I play where clean cut is like a mandatory 4 of is my Sword Art Online deck, the first Sword Art Online deck, not the Alicization one, and Kaguya, because Kaguya has the mill run, and the SEL, you do need that clean cut going second because most of your level zeros are so weak and outdated. You want to protect them. Not outdated, but so weak in the profile and power profile, so you need to protect them. So I do agree with Andy in this one. Clean cut definitely should be an option for only going second, so you don't need it that often. Because my philosophy of deck building is you wanna re-show it for being able to play either going first or going second. You want to be prepared for either one. You don't want to slot yourself all in on going first or going second. Because if you slot yourself in either one, even if you get your desired pick of going second, if somehow are you somehow go first, you can get punished. And that's the thing that Bushiroad kind of protects people with, is if you win the rock paper scissors, you have to go first. Unlike Yu-Gi-Oh, or I think Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, where after you guys decide, the winner of that decision gets to decide if they want to go first. Because some decks do suffer going second. And if you slot your build just going first, you're going to get punished going second because you're going to be at a disadvantage. And if you are slotted for going second and your opponent knows it, they will make you go first. So it's a balancing act. And that's one thing I learned from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like you want to build your deck in a way where you're fine going either first or second. You want to be both. You want to be kind of like at the early game a jack of all trades.
Right. So it is a clean cut that I can use early on to get some advantage, uh, which is extra nice since 8 standby doesn't have a plussing level 1 combo in this set. But it's there also later in the game, so I can use it for the 2000 power pump on play. So in matchups where I'm maybe playing against another standby deck or something where my opponent has a bigger card on field, it can help my standby targets push over theirs, hopefully. So even throughout the game, it's like a 1 of or 2 of that you can salvage if you need it. 2 copies of the Ironwood. Just an overall good card for standby, being able to like glimpse the top card of your deck and see what you're triggering, if it's going to be a standby or lets you move the top card.
Not to mention, it's also just a second, like the sibling version of an Arisu. So it's also good for just setting up your waiting room, which is really nice.
Part of your deck if you want to try to accelerate into a standby, and it lets you if you're clogging out on your standby targets in hand and need stuff from graveyard, you can switch those around.
Yep.
Discard your big boys and salvage a filtering card if you need to.
Right.
And he's also probably just the best blue fix the set has. I'm not going as heavy on blue as some people, but I still felt it was important to fit in a couple copies of the Blake early play. Because the early play condition does go really nicely with standby, not needing a full field for it. And always nice to have an early play healer. So the James Ironwood felt like a pretty solid include. 2 copies of the Brainstorm. You could run 3 if you really wanted. I think 2's probably fine. You have like 8 standbys in the deck too, so if you really need to, you can standby 1 out to your back row, but you only really ever need to have 1 Brainstormer on the field. And you don't need it like immediately right away at the start of the game, so you have some time to get into it, so that's why I'm on 2. One of the Climax Swapper. I like the level 0 Climax Swapper in Ruby. It's probably my preferred Climax getting card. I think the Nora that Brian had in his deck at level 1, I think that's a really good card, but it was just a little more expensive than I wanted to go for. And I also wanted to like pump up my level 0 count a little bit too. And the Neapolitan is really good, but it only comes online at level 3. So early in the game, the level 0 is my preferred Climax switching option. And the on-play top check and either leave it on top or send the card to waiting room is really nice because it can help put standby targets into your waiting room and accelerate you into triggering a standby. 1 copy of the Blake Search Brainstorm. It's Really nice that this is spammable. I found myself a lot in my testing just triggering a ton of standbys and drawing a ton of standbys and having a deck full of dead air and being like, oh shit. So this card was a fantastic like get out of jail free card, helping me pay out dirty stock and just mill through my deck. Also, being a spammable also has an additional benefit here. Being a search a card and then discard lets you actually get standby targets out of your hand into waiting room where they need to be if you're having trouble getting a discard early on.
Yeah, you can just entomb your targets, basically. Just foolish burial your targets straight to a deck to waiting room.
Exactly. Or what I found myself having a lot was like getting my 2/2s stuck in my hand or 1/1s. So being able to like just grab a playable card and dump my target into graveyard is really nice. Honestly, that felt like the all-star of the deck.
I would say if you're still having problems with that, I would consider bumping the Ironwood to maybe 3 or 4 of, because it does the same thing without having to constantly burn stock. Like I do see those scenarios where he's talking about though, where it's good, like when you're trying to clean out your stock to use that spammable brainstorm. So it's not a au contraire or like a actually thing. I think what he's saying is correct. I'm just adding on, if you want to fix the hand issue too, you might want to cut that Yang and Blake promo and maybe bump the Ironwood to 3. Or cut the Pura Rize to 3 and bump the Ironwood to 3 as well. Just so you can have more ditch options. Because this deck, since it's not like the Arisu, the Arisu where your top check surveilling, and if you miss it because you hit an event, you don't get your discard outlet. It's you can either discard a character to draw or discard a card to reveal the top card of your deck. So either way, you're gonna have that. You're guaranteed your discard outlet. So that Ironwood, I think, is slept on. And it really is, next to the Blake, an MVP in blue.
And then rounding out level zeros, I have one copy of the shop promo there. It is an on reverse bottom decker bomb. And on attack, you get to look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Choose one of them to go to your waiting room, one of them to go on top of your deck. Choose your triggers really nice in general, especially in 8 standby. If you're in a situation where your deck's compressed and you want to run clean, you can just go, you can look at the top card, see that it's clean, and just stop there and just have a clean trigger. Helps you get a clean trigger. Or when you're wanting to beef up your field with standby, when power matters, you can try to accelerate yourself into a standby there. This is a shop promo, so I don't think it's available to get yet. But if you don't have it yet, you can just run another copy of the Ironwood, I'd say, probably. Moving on to level 1s. 3 copies of the 1/1 Ruby standby target, 7500 Encore, and 1 copy of the 1/1 Glinda, which also has hand Encore, but is more aggressively statted, hitting higher power thresholds on attack, getting up to 10k, but sitting weaker on defense. It was kind of hard to fit a ton of backups in this deck, I found, especially since the top end is so heavy in this deck, splitting between the Pyrrha and Ruby combos. So I didn't really prioritize on having a ton of 1/1 targets because I felt like I wasn't going to be able to defend them reliably. But splitting the Glinda with the Ruby feels nice for that reason. Because if I'm not able to reliably tank up on defense with counters, the Glinda is still able to like hand Encore and hit over stuff on the way back, which is really nice. 1 copy of the Pyrrha Suicider. Usually I try to get my level 0 Pyrrhas in memory by just crashing them out early, or just throughout the game, getting them onto the field and having them die. but in a pinch, it is nice to be able to get a Pyrrha from your waiting room into memory for your top end combo if you weren't able to see your Rize's early. Because remember, the Ruby finisher doesn't do anything at all if you don't have 2 of the level 0 Pyrrhas in your memory. And that level 1 Pyrrha has the effect when it dies, you can put a Pyrrha from your waiting room straight to memory. So another way to get them in there. 1 copy of the 1/1 bottom deck bomb. I kind of consider this to be like a 5th 1/1 target. Kind of nice to be able to have an Adachi index in general, especially if I'm not able to reliably be the biggest standby deck in the room. It's nice to be able to have an aggressive answer to my opponent's higher level characters. And the Neptune's just good blue fix too. Again, you know, kind of short on blue fix in this deck because you're forced to.
So I'm gonna pause right here. If you want to watch the rest of Andy's explanation of the deck profile, it's on their channel, their video. I want to move on to Carmen's before I before I look at their thoughts and their final thoughts, because I'll kind of want to skip ahead. So sorry, Andy, if I'm cutting you off here, and if there's any points that he did discuss that are relevant, please include it in the comment section below. Just want to move on quickly. So now we're going to get to the man of the hour, who has a spicy tech or spicy take on Ruby. So I did discuss with Carmen earlier, and he showed me his list. So I'm kind of already privied to that knowledge. So I just want to preface that. But he did tell me, he didn't tell me in detail when we were chatting a bit on Discord about his like overall reasoning. So I'm going to listen to the video and give you my thoughts on it. So like my initial thoughts on this list before going on to hearing what Carmen has to say is I disagree with the Neon Cat like being at 4. Just outright. And I want to hear his reasoning before I give mine, because I don't want to just outright say it's the wrong idea without hearing what he has to say. With Yang, the clean cut, I feel like that's an okay number, 3. I would run 3. In fact, maybe I would run it. I was considering running it as a 2 or 3 of in my deck, but since I'm very tight in space with my list, I kind of had to forgo it. But overall, I do kind of see where he's going at with the 8 door build. My issue with the Cinder is that it's vulnerable to 1, money opponents playing money counter, 2, anti-soul counters. Rest counters can answer this really easily on if you're fielding multiple. And just overall, if you can't guarantee the reverse, and I'm seeing him slotting so much resources to get that reverse, it's almost as if it's kind of like a piece, not piecemeal, but a piece reliant build, where if you don't have all the pieces in play, you're gonna struggle. And I think that's why I kind of at first didn't like the Cinder, because it requires a reverse. The burn one is fine. What made it besides the reverse, what really made me kind of drop it was the fact that it top kicks it. The character that it reverses instead of clock kicking it. Because then even though you're decompressing your opponent's deck by 1 card, that's not enough, because if you're fielding level 3s, you're swinging for big enough numbers that that decompress by 1 is very negligible. So you might as well, like, at least with the Ruby top end, you're guaranteeing 3 damage if you're try fielding because you're clock kicking them. And if there's combos that rely on reflect burns, for example, those characters need to remain on the board. Remain on the board. And the only way they'll remain on the board is if they're hexproof. So that's my concern with that. Because not a lot of sets run hexproof level 3s. Especially in English. In JP, that's another story. The only deck that I think that reliably has hexproof is AOT. My memory can be completely wrong. And I think the Darkness from Konosuba also has hexproof. I forget which other sets give hexproof. I think ReZero if you're doing the Maids build. That's obscure. Like I think there is quite a few, but they're not that meta relevant. So like you don't have to worry as much with Ruby. Ruby does have to worry about rogue matchups, but that's just with Ruby in general, not like the 3-2 Ruby, but just Ruby as a set. So that's why me personally, I was turned off by the Cinders finisher, and I preferred the Ruby one. But let me hear what Carmen has to say.
So while our viewers take in this, which is probably some things people are not currently looking at,
I give him mad props though for building this spicy list. I feel like the non-common build that is actually good is not the Cinder one, but the one that runs the 3-2 Blake Mocha finisher. I think Kit was testing it out for Burn 1 when I was chatting with him. That one I think is a better top end if you're not going for the standby route. You could even run Empty Door because this set has so many off finishers that you can kind of get away with just 8 door, like one of them being an empty door. That's kind of the funny part about it.
That is a pile, Carmen.
I will.
That's a pile.
It is not a pile.
Is that the villain deck?
I
Carmen?
promise. Listen. Let me spin you a narrative. Let me tell you a story. So, one bright-eyed boy myself, when reviewing Ruby and looking at the cards, I was like, "Holy shit! The Pyrrha is so sick. I want to play that at level 2, and then I can play money counter, and I can better player people, and it's gonna be so awesome." Like, I'm going to be able to play all these cool off finishers. It's going to be so sick. Like, I'm going to be able to, like, better player so many people with it because I'll be able to hold up.
He really likes that money counter. And, like, the problem with that money counter, let me pull it up. I think it requires 5 characters on board. One sec. I just need to take a look. Because that event was in my radar too. Yeah, I have it right here. If you have 5 or more characters, choose one of your characters in battle. That character gains the following ability. One character in battle, and that character gains the following ability until the end of the turn. This character cannot deal damage to a player. So you need 5 characters on board. So if you were to try to play this defensively, you have to ensure that when you swung in, your opponent didn't knock out at least one character in order to play this. So that's the glaring issue, because if you have under 5, this card is a dud. Not to mention, yeah, they did this to balance the set out. The fact that the off finishers cost so much stock and the pure cost so much stock, because the set would be just outright disgusting. And not to mention, you're running free fresh as well. So free fresh is pretty much, in my opinion, very similar to a money counter, because if you're out so many climaxes, you can refresh your deck, which not only helps you reset for a potential cancel, but it allows you to reset your deck, because if you needed pieces and you had no way of getting guaranteeing to get it from the waiting room, you can at least draw it. That's why.
Money, and then they can't leave a grave, and like I'll always have them on edge, and I'll have all these different options I can go into. And you know what happened? I played Peer to the board, and I just never had stock again. And because I was a more normal deck, because I was playing the TD combo because of deck speed.
Yeah, like he really loves that money counter, and it's weird.
Issues. I'll get into that when I get to the card. Or like, I just felt, like I just can't do it, because it's not like 8 standby where you just don't spend stock on anything, right? Like you don't spend stock on anything, so you have that like 2 stock overhead, and it doesn't really matter. You can still like hold up money even with Ruby not attacking. And that brings me to the next thing I tried, was where I went from Door Pyrrha standby to Door Ruby standby, and I was like, oh, okay, this is better. I'm like playing to this. It's kind of cool. It's not interactive. My opponent can't stop it. I have the Neo, blah blah, all this crazy stuff. And then I go to my final turn, and I'm like, oh, this is so sick. Like I'm gonna hold up money again, because money's the thing that I want to do the most. And then Ruby doesn't attack.
She takes all your stock.
And then I just don't have any stock. And I'm just like, oh, then I have to have such a good game, or I have to do like worse plays at other points in the game to be able to do what I want to do, which is do my combo, or if my opponent's trying to deny me, slam down my healers and hold up money, and then do it again on the swing back. I was like, okay. Well, that's what sort of brought me to here. Because this cool thing about Cinder, right? She has the exact same expected damage output as Ruby. It's literally the same. And in fact, it's actually slightly better, because you top deck the card across from her. It still needs a quote-unquote target. It needs a reverse. It can get really big. Like, you can get to like 15-5, even more. You have a ton of pumps for Ruby. It has the same expected damage output, but more importantly, the card attacks. So because the card attacks and because the card heals, I know a lot of people are talking about playing Yang, playing Blake, the Mocha, and stuff like that, because they top check 3, top check 5, respectively, which can get you into monies. And then if the Mocha sacks, you can like move a climax down, so then you have a cancel, and then you have money. But then the problem is, how do you win field? Because even if you play the Cinder back row, which I'll get to in a little bit here, you're still like under a lot of stuff. Like I've even played into like Dal and like Kagi and stuff like that. Like, because of the way the Cinder works, you can like shove yourself over a boosted president, like with the 1/1 in the back row. Like you can get over that, and it's like not difficult, because of like the Nora brainstorm. Like you put yourself to like 16 without doing anything after you get a reverse in another lane, because they can't have triple president because they don't play 3 of that card, and they would never do that. So like you can shove yourself over president with Cinder, which is really, really cool. And again, same expected damage output and attacks, lets you hold up money after it. And you have so many draws to like hold 1 money counter, like not a big deal. So that's what led me here. I'm at TD door, Cinder top end, and that's the end of my story. So now I'm going to talk about the deck. First thing you're going to notice here for Neon Cat, this card is ignorant. I hate this card. I hate that I'm playing this card. I hate that this card is good. I think that when cards like this are good, they degenerate gameplay, every person I've sat against has like rolled their eyes and groaned because they know I'm playing for this card because I've talked about it. When I've sat across from people playing this card, because like Dean and Nico and like everybody else, like people who have Ruby online that I've been testing with outside of locals, have been playing for Neon Cat. The card's just ignorant. The card's obnoxious. I hate it. Like I hate that this card is so good. Because you play it down, you dunk their card. If you go first, it can coin flip back. If you go second, you dunk their card unless they're lucky enough to open 2 runners or 2 chasers or something like that. And then if they do that, then they might already neg because you have cards that can hit pretty big anyway. And then if it coin flips back to hand, then your opponent can't go slow anymore. They have to field 2 cards, which probably sends you to 1, which then more reliably gives you reverses for your TD Ruby. Which is really good about the card. Like, so the card feeds into giving you reverses for your level 1 combo by accelerating you to 1 early. Especially if your opponent's standby. Like, standby can't attack once and pass if the card pops back to hand, unless they're okay with losing their card again. Which is like a really annoying implication because the standby, you want to go slow, you want to build your army, you want to put your 1/1s out. And even if your opponent does do that and they don't care, your level 1 combo gets so big that you probably board break them anyway, unless they've somehow sacked and sculpted multiple backups as well. So the Neon Cat has like really disgusting implications. I hate when cards like this are good, but the card is good, and because I acknowledge it's good, I run 4 copies because I want to see it going first. I want to see it going second, and past the first 2 turns of the game, the card doesn't do anything. So because I got to see it early, I'm playing 4. But yeah, I hate it, but I'm playing it.
To quote you from the set review, the card is cringe.
Yeah, the card is
on the
cringe.
cringe to based scale. This was an instant cringe.
Neon Cat is cringe. I hate that this card is good. Because I didn't want to admit it. I played the TD Ruby first, and I was like, I played against Neon Cat 1 time, and I said this card is just better. I have to play this card. Unfortunate truth, but the card is good. Please leave the card, play the card. I know you don't trust, because I also didn't trust, but sleeve the card, play the card. Card's gross. Like even completely off color for the deck. We're not playing a single late game yellow yellow. We're playing a 4 of. 3 clean cut. I don't even want to play clean cut in this deck. It's not doing a lot, but the 2K pump is really important, especially against Dal if they have a boosted Kermi. That's why it's in the deck. It puts you over boosted Kermi in the first lane. So then you cascade with your plus 2K on Manamis and just kill their entire board. It hasn't failed yet, and we've like set up scenarios like where like worst case scenarios like versus Dal, and it's still, because of the clean cut, you are able to clear their board. So it's necessary. And if you do go second, you do have the option, you can just clean cut your Brainstorm or something. Still a plus. Still gets you 3 stock. If you want to go fast, it gives you the option. So you can be an annoying piece of shit like grinder with like Neon Cat, or you can go fast and generate 3 stock. You can do whatever you want. So it opens up the option. 3 Amber, because we have to. This is just an on-play, like Krista. It can take anything off its clock plus effects. It pay 1 clock yourself. It can take any remnant. I do miss having Lai Ren in this spot. I was playing Lai Ren when I wasn't playing Cinder. I do miss that card. I think that card's extremely good. I'm very biased towards Mayuri. I'm sure Brian is too. Yeah, Mayuri, Ricky, where you mill 3 and you put 1 in clock of your choice and then salvage. It like gives you extra targets. It gives you first deck speed. But unfortunately, we do have to play this. At least it is 3K on turn, so it's like a decent like beater. You like play it down and then it can like kill something, which is fine. Only 3 because slots and no real reason to run more. And it's gonna like delete it. It doesn't really delete itself later, but you know, I'll get to that when we get to the 2-1. 3 Chad Thundercock. I already talked about this. Card's broken. Even in a non-standby deck, it lets you do dumb stuff like have important cards be 1-ofs. Like Climax Swapper, our only Climax Assurance in this deck, doesn't matter because if we have an Ironwood and that card is in our grave, we have that card. Same goes for Drop Search. Same goes for Blake Spammable. Only 2 Nora, also for that same reason. Like Ironwood becomes functional additional copies of your 2 and less ofs. Which is like just really, really disgusting interaction. That's why the card's so good. I think pretty much every Ruby deck should be running this card. It's like a reason to play Ruby, which is like insane to say, but like, you know, Notably, I am playing the Yang Drop Search, and I am not playing Zwei. Zwei is a card that has randomness, and I don't like randomness, even with the nice little mill too. I know it's access to both zones, but I'm playing 8 door, and I'm playing a Salvage Brainstorm, and I don't care about randomly accessing deck. I want to access deck when I need to access deck. So that's why I'm playing Yang. It doesn't go any further than that in terms of like my logic of this over Zwei. It's that Zwei is random deck access. Deck access is important to me. I will not be having random deck access. I will be having guaranteed deck access.
I think that's, I agree with that too, because while I do like prefer the Zwei in a vacuum, probably the fact that you're on 8 door, and a Salvage Brainstorm, you know, you don't have a ton of deck access, so the times when you want it, you know,
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
100% sure you want it.
the card's definitely good. I would not call Zwei a bad card. It's just it's not for this deck. I don't think. And it might not be for me as a player. I think it's a personal preference thing. But the card's definitely good. All right, on to level 1, TD combo. Not a lot of people are playing TD combo. I don't know why. There is nothing in the meta right now that you care about that is denying you reverse. There's one deck. It's Konosuba. And even against Konosuba, if they give you like one lane, you're like still okay. You're not having like the worst time. The big reason to run the Trout combo over anything else is that you just don't hit the refresh timing. I just can't see it. Like without the Trout combo, like with Trout combo in the deck, in this deck specifically, I am hitting refresh when I need to hit refresh pretty much every game, unless the games where your deck just fucking explodes because this is Weiss and you can be playing the most consistent deck in the universe and dry climaxes and lose. But like if the game is even going remotely normally or even badly, I've been able to mill out in bad games and like reset with this. It's a lot of deck speed. The fact that the mill comes after, I mean, it's kind of refreshing that the mill comes after your attack, especially on your last attack. If you have climaxes left in deck, it's a nice little boon to Minami that you otherwise don't get, and you don't really think about it until you're playing the card versus playing pretty much everything's been Magro. There hasn't been like a lot of Minami around. But the big thing about this card is 7/5 on its own with the climax down. And for every reverse you get, it pumps another 2k to another lane. So you can cascade over your opponent's standby boards very easily and just clear your opponent's entire board off. The fact that it ties with a 1/1 base is really important. I think if this card was any smaller, even just 7k, it would be so much worse. The fact that this card starts at 7/5 in a meta that's like more standby focused, even against Kaguya, like against the Miyuki, like which is a 7/5 in front of the thing, like it doesn't really matter because you can always build over the level 1 Kaguya board. That's not a problem. But even still, like all these big cards at 1, you're able to beat over, and you can very easily clear 2/2s. If you have triple of this down, your last Ruby swings in at 11/5 without any additional support. That's really big, and it keeps it relevant throughout the game too. And when we get to the 2/1 Weiss, that's another reason to play a combo.
Yeah, like maybe swings even bigger too, because you have the Nora Brainstorm. Like each reverse is giving you an extra
Additional
500 for each of
yeah.
those you have down.
And you have the Yang to start you out at 9/5 if you need to, so you're tying with 1/1s with backups at worst. You're challenging like Karumi, like 1/1s that are buffed from the Brainstorm or a 1/0 or something like that. Or like after like killing a 0, you're definitely over them, even if they try to play counter. So yeah, it's just a lot of power. It's a lot of rolling power.
There's no shortage of power pump in Ruby.
Yeah, and even if they like you said, even against like a Konosuba or Attack on Titan, or even if they have like pop back or aren't giving you reverses at level 1, usually that could be pretty damning for a combo like this, where like you have like one shot at level 1 to get it, then that's it. But the fact that you have the level 2 Weiss to go with it seems to me that, you know, if they have the pop back on a turn, they have it. Whatever, you don't get your combo. But it seems like if your opponent stumbles at any point, if they leave themselves open for even a single turn, because the Weiss draws so many cards on her part of the combo, you know, you can still end up getting all your pluses on a future turn.
Yeah, the 2-1 Weiss is a massive overperformer. I want to finish talking about the ones real quick first because there is this Nolan. A lot of people probably haven't seen this card before. I even myself, I might have trashed this card in the set review. I might have been dumb. But this card is also a massive overperformer. The Nolan is a cost bomb. It is a bottom decker cost bomb. It is 2K. That's important. Even with a climax down, you are under Shizu, which is the main card you are looking to cost bomb out in the English meta right now.
So my thoughts on the Nolan, honestly, yeah, it does. It's a really spicy card because it does punish Dal and other decks that run switchers. But that's it. I'm like, I'm not saying that I'm dissing the card. If anything, I'm saying like it's a good tech choice to put on the side if the meta becomes more and more switch focus. Like, and Dal is a good justifier for that. And if you're running into a lot of Dal, yeah, you can run this. But since it I I really have no opinion on this because it's very situational. And I think the meta does. There's evidence to show that this is good. It's just I personally wouldn't run it. So I'm gonna skip ahead to the thoughts and observations, and then I'm just gonna show you guys my deck, and then we'll close this stream out. Or yeah, we'll just close it out after that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the one like the few cards I did want to try to squeeze in were like I wanted to put in a copy of the Neo for like a little bit of extra climax assurance and like the ability to burst my opponent down if they're trying to crash out, like just to give me a pivot. Not that I'd want to, but like because I'd rather like wait, heal, and hold up money, but it gives me the option to. I want to test that. I want to test a copy of the Nora that like 4 more early play gets big to clear lane anti-backup. Because anti-backup doesn't mean I can't play money. So it lets me do that, and that's another really big lane that my opponent can't deal with. And then also like a copy of the level 2 killer. All of which means I probably have to cut an Ironwood because I don't know if I can cut any of these other cards, which is pretty unfortunate. But I think cutting an Ironwood is probably okay. I'm gonna try those 3 cards. I gotta find which one works best into like English stuff. I gotta run into more Kage and Dal and probably more of the like random like tier, not the tier just the tier 0 stuff, but like upcoming stuff and like tier 1 and tier 2 like random stuff, and see what plays best into that board. I'm thinking it's probably the 1-0 winner sneak because it's just another attacker, like the most innocuous card to put in. It's like the safest card. Or like the Nora. I think the Neo might not be needed. I think you'd rather heal and hold up the money counter than like go for random pushes. But I mean, like you can get a climax with it. So like maybe that's enough.
I mean, I don't even know how much of a concession it would be, right? Like you could just turn one of the Nolans into a Winter, and then if you were already thinking about cutting an Ironwood, just turn an Ironwood into a Neo. If you think you're okay cutting a level 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that only takes you down to 18 zeros, which I feel like would be fine if you wanted to go that route.
I think I'm at 18. I think it would take me to 17.
4, 7, 10, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay.
cutting an Ironwood would take me to 17.
The 17, yeah.
But I mean, then again, you still have like you have the 3 Yangs and the 4 Neos. That's a lot of plussing level 0s.
Yeah. The Yang I always had when I'm playing this deck, I'm looking at as mostly a pump.
So looking at it, they're just probably summarizing each other's lists, and I guess I can skip from there. So overall, I do like like their lists. I like the only one that I had the most problems was not problems but concerns. I guess is the better word, better phrasing is Carmen's. But honestly, it's really good. Like his reasoning is understandable. Like I may have disagreements with it, but I'm not gonna say that this list isn't good. It's actually pretty good. It's just I wouldn't take that approach personally. So yeah, so let me showcase my take on it after testing it for a while. I think for about 3 days. This is what I have so far. So let me just turn that off. Oh wait.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like most about.
Oh, misclicked. Okay. So okay, let me showcase my list. So I'm running like Andy and Brian, I am running the standby Ruby finisher. But like Carmen, I'm running the initiation climax. So let's get on to kind of just quickly go over the level zeros. So we're playing 4 of the Ruby Trial Deck Runner. I feel like it's a necessity to run that for this deck because it's a mill 2, it's a 4K on the if you were to run this going second, it's a easy 4K. So you can run over a level 0 and it's a mill runner. I do agree with a lot of their takes, and that is the Neon Cat. But I play it as a 3 of because going second, you only need it going second. And it's there for the punishing your opponent's opening play. Or if they just continually field 1 at the early games, you just constantly punish with the Neon Cat. So that's why I play it as a 3 of. I played the 3 Ironwood because just that level of filtering that it gives is really busted. I then played the 3 Pura Rize because since you can only max 3 in the memory, you're running a lot of mill, you're running a lot of deck speed already with my list, that I felt like 3 is fine. Because your main goal is to shove her into memory and compress. Next, we play 3 copies of the Nora Brainstorm. Like, just standard salvage Brainstorm. I do play 1 of the Uniform Blake. You do need that spammable Brainstorm because you need that deck speed. And this deck, without it, is just super slow. And then lastly, we play 1 copy of the Climax Swapper. And for my level 1s, I am playing 4 copies of the Teamwork Ruby, kind of standard. 2 copies of the Uniform Pura. And then lastly, 1 copy of the Neptune Adachi. So we're not playing any other level 0s. I was testing at one point the Raven Bronwen because it does give, when Climax is in play, it does become a 6K. And it is basically a a power pumper, so it allows you to pump power into the other lanes and guarantee reverses. So that's why I play it. That's what I was testing. I was testing other things, but with this list, I wanted it to be very aggressive, but still have some way of putting up a defense. And then for the two step, we play 2 copies of the Crow refresh counter. I'm also playing 1 copy of the Jacques Schnee, which is the memory kicker 3K counter. In my testing, I found that being able to answer like decks like Dal with this is actually nice, because if you kick their 2/2s, there you leave one lane open to push for more damage, and that's just so much better. Being able to deny reverses and also take characters off the board permanently is great. Next, we play 3 copies of the Yang 2/2 and 1 copy of the Ruby 2/2. Just my own take on that. I like the power pump that the 10-5 it becomes versus the 10K, but this is, you need hand on core right now since you're not playing Dal that has like a busted 2/2 lineup. Next week for the 3, we play 1 Salem, which is either a stock swap or Icy Tail. 1 Neil, to as many of them mentioned. It's basically a pay 1, salvage a climax, and then discard a character. Choose 2 characters from your opponent's waiting room and put them into the center stage. So that sets up your climax combos really nicely. Next, we play 1 copy of the Weiss summoning. So it's a standby target, and it's a 2K backliner. And it also, what's great about it is you can tap it to rearrange the top card of your deck to basically sculpt your triggers. So if you're going for a more beat down route, she gives you that ability to do that. And then we play 3 early play Blakes and 4 Ruby finishers. So ultimately that's my deck list. So I hope you guys like this stream. I am going to be doing more later on. I'm going to probably be cutting it off because this is like 2 hours and 16 minutes. So we're going to cut this off. And I hope to see you guys soon. So don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, also crack that like button. And I hope to see you guys soon.